Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. My name is Susan and this is my husband, Jimmy. You just always grin when I say that. That's because you like me so
That's
much,
right.
right?
That's right.
Okay, so anyway, today we are so glad that you would take a moment from your time and watch our program. We're going to be talking to you about something that could be a key to maybe unlock some things for you in your life. It's hopefully what this would be. The title of our program today is Persistent Faith. And so there is a little saying like this: winners never quit. And quitters never win. And that really is the sum of being persistent.
That's right. You know, I mean, and you may, those of you that watch us on a regular basis may think, well, they sure do talk a lot about faith. And we do.
We do talk about it a lot.
The reason is because the Bible tells us in Hebrews chapter 11 that without faith it is impossible to please God. So that's, I mean, I don't know, and I do what I do know about you. You want to please God.
Yeah.
And so that means that I have to cultivate and work on developing my faith. You know, the thing about walking by faith, living by faith, is this: you never get to the point where you can stop. You've got to be continually growing. Just like in my favorite Bible verse in John chapter 8, it says, if you continue. There's nowhere in there it says when you've grown enough you can quit. We don't ever get there. You have to continue.
Yeah, and you know, Jim, it's so easy to start something.
Oh yeah, there's an excitement.
Yeah, I mean, you just get really thrilled about it, you know, but the difficulty comes in finishing a task.
That's right.
Or, you know, just being persistent.
Being persistent.
Just staying with it.
That's
okay,
right.
So I'm going to read to you something from Isaiah 51, and this is from the Message translation.
Okay.
And it's verses 1, 2, and 3. Now listen to what it says here. It says, "Listen to me, all you who are serious about right living and committed to seeking God. Ponder the rock from which you were cut, the quarry from which you were dug. Yes, ponder Abraham your father and Sarah who bore you." So he's telling you, you know, just like you said a while ago, if you're serious about following after God, you've got to be this faith person.
That's right.
And so, you know, that's what Abraham was. And he's telling us here, prophetically from the book of Isaiah, he's telling us to take a look at him and consider his life a little bit.
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to do that some, not totally today, but in talking about persistent faith, you've got to think about Abraham, because this man started out, and how long was it? 25 years before he actually saw the manifestation of the promise God had made him.
That's right.
So you got to be persistent to wait that long.
Well, yeah, and you know, so what happens to a lot of us is that we do this, and we at some point through there we get discouraged, and then we just kind of slow down, and then we stop.
That's what we do.
But you've got to continue going. So listen to what he said. This is a faith test.
Okay, a faith test.
Leave everything you know, your family, your hometown, but it's for your advantage.
Yeah, that's hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Live in a tent instead of your nice house with servants, but you'll be blessed with abundant favors. Yep, you're 75, kind of settled in your ways, but it's for your advantage that you leave.
Okay, so Jimmy, we just went to a high school reunion.
Yes, we did.
Okay, this was number 60.
60, yes.
So everyone there is over 75, but not much. Not much over it.
Right.
But you know, you look around at the crowd and you think, my goodness, let's think about giving them this assignment.
Yeah.
Leave everything you know. I mean, for a person that has had that many years, that is so difficult, because they have got such a routine in their life. And I'm going to tell you, Abraham was probably no different than people are today. Don't you just know that he had a certain coffee cup, that he had a certain place that he sat down to read his Bible? I'm just being, you know, kind of drawing you a picture here, you know, but he absolutely probably had some serious routine in his life. This is not an easy thing for him to do.
No, it's not.
To pull up and leave.
Well, I mean, you think about this, Susan. What God was asking him to do was to leave everything he was familiar with.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. His family.
Yeah.
That is so hard. Of course, then he did cheat and he took Lot with him.
That's right,
He shouldn't
yes.
have done that,
That's
but
right.
nevertheless.
That's right.
Okay, so what did faith do in Abraham's life? What did that do to help him? So we're going to read about that in Hebrews 11,
All right.
8 through 10, and this is the Amplified, if you want to read that.
All right. Amplified Classic. Hebrews 11, this verse 8. Urged on by faith, Abraham, when he was called, obeyed and went forth to a place which he was destined to receive as an inheritance. And he went, although he did not know or trouble his mind about where he was to go. Verse 9, prompted by faith, as he dwelt in a temporary residence in the land which was designated in the promise of God, though he was like a stranger in a strange country, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, fellow heirs of him with the same promise. For he was awaiting expectantly and confidently, looking forward to the city which has fixed and firm foundation, whose architect and builder is God.
Okay, so what I want you to notice here is that verse 8 began that the Amplified makes it really clear. It says he was urged by his faith.
Yes.
And you know, he did have obedience. He was called by God. And so, but we are like people like him.
Yes.
And so when God has spoken to you, understand, when that faith rises in your heart to do the task, whatever is before you, you're going to feel urged to just move forward.
Yes.
Okay, and then it also said in verse 9 in the Amplified Bible, it said he was prompted by faith. Sometimes you'll have an idea about something.
Right.
And you want to just forget about it, but you keep being prompted, and you need to take a look at it. It could be that God is speaking to
That's
you.
right.
But anyway, so it's interesting to see how faith played such a huge part in Abraham's life, right?
Yes, it did. Well, I mean, he's called the father of faith, so obviously it did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're talking about persistent faith.
Yes.
And so think about this, everybody wants success, right?
Yes.
Everybody wants a good outcome in their life. Okay, and so we're here to tell you today that as believers, faith is a huge component of that. In fact, it's everything. And that's what it says in 1 John 5, verses 4 and 5.
All right, here's what it says. It says, for whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Who is he that overcometh the world? But he that believeth that Jesus is the Son of God. But it says right there that this is the victory that overcomes the world, even our faith.
That's what does it,
That's right.
And when he's talking about world here, you could think culture.
Yes.
You could think what overcomes, all of these distractions in my life. It's going to be faith. That's what's going to do it for you.
That's right, yes.
Okay, so that's why we're taking a look at that today. And we're especially talking about it in regards to being persistent. Because like we said a while ago, what was it I said at the beginning? I said quitters never win.
No, winners
never quit.
And quitters never win.
Yeah, and that's really how it is.
It is.
Okay, so let's get a good definition of being persistence. What does that mean?
Okay, here's persistence. Firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition.
Okay, you want to talk about that a minute?
Well, I mean, that's absolutely true. There's things that go on that would tell you, well, you shouldn't be doing this, or well, that's not what everybody else thinks, or this, that, and the other. But yet you've had that you believe is a word from God, a direction from God, and that you're supposed to continue to do that, even though there's people out there saying, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll find this a lot, when you're in a battle for your health.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times you'll see people and they'll say, well, I'm going to start going to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3 times a week.
Right.
I'm going to tell you right now that's hard to keep up with. But you'll find out, men, there's some difficulty in that. Okay, there's a lot of difficulty in just keeping with it.
That's right, because there's always, you can always find an easy excuse as to why it's okay to miss today.
That's right, always.
And then you find that there's easy excuse as to why you miss tomorrow. And pretty soon you look back and you think, whoa, I hadn't been to the gym in 2 weeks.
That's right, and then a month passes.
And see, you got to the place where you didn't even realize you weren't going.
Yep. Okay, so persistence is important.
That's right. All right, another nonstop, constant, continual, steady, relentless pressure to a situation.
Okay, now Jimmy, I've got grandkids that are good at this. Okay, man, when they want something, they can put on the pressure.
Yes, they can.
And nonstop and relentless. Just, you know, well, Mimi, what about this? And could we please? You know,
Yeah.
I can just hear the voices, you know, all through the years,
Yeah.
you know, over and they never give up.
No.
Never. I mean, you can say, no, we're not going to do it today. Well, okay, well, tomorrow will be all right.
Yeah.
And then it starts all over. But anyway, that's how you are when you're persistent. You are constant, continual, steady, and relentless. You're adding pressure.
That's right.
To the situation.
If you stop and think about this, we're talking about faith here, and so there's this thing you were talking about the grandkids, okay?
Yeah.
And so let's say that today let's just say Monday.
Okay.
You say, well, all right, we're going to do this.
Okay.
And so, you know, you go on and whatever you didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't forget.
No, they don't forget.
And I mean, it might be a week.
Yeah.
But they'll say, well, maybe you promised that we would.
Yeah.
And see, that's the way
they
we have to
do.
be with God.
That's right.
You have to say, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, and that brings you to the third characteristic of persistence. It will not let go.
Or give up.
Or give up.
No. There's no quit there.
That's
See,
right.
as a believer, there should be no quit in you.
No, absolutely not.
See, I'll go back. A lot of people don't know this about us, but first time I asked you for a date, you turned me down.
I did.
But I was
not exactly.
But I was persistent.
Yeah.
I didn't quit.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, and here we are, 57 years later.
Yeah, at least it's been a long time.
So anyway,
Yeah.
but you just don't quit.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to give you a couple of things to think about here. We're going to talk about a parable of a persistent widow.
Okay.
Okay. This is also, we're in this Amplified Classic translation today, and this is Luke 18, verses 1 through 8. But we're going to read them and stop along the way. So
Okay.
read that first one.
All right, Luke chapter 18, this is verse 1. Also Jesus told them a parable to the effect that they ought always to pray and not to turn coward, faint, lose heart, or give up. In other words, don't let up on your faith.
That's right. And you know, nobody wants to turn coward.
No.
Nobody wants to be called that.
No.
And so, but right here, Jesus is telling them a parable. Okay, now see, he was the world's greatest storyteller.
Absolutely.
Because he could take natural circumstances that the people were all familiar with and tell them a story about that so they knew just what he was talking about. And then he made this spiritual application of it. Okay, so that's what he's talking about. So verse 2, he said, in a certain city, there was a judge who neither reverenced and feared God nor respected or considered man. So
Okay.
tell us about the judge.
Well, I mean, obviously he was a hard man.
A hard man.
He didn't care about anybody else. Just
That's
don't
right.
bother him.
That's what he was like. Okay.
All right.
Read verse 3.
Verse 3, and there was a widow in that city who kept coming to him and saying, protect and defend and give me justice against my adversary.
Okay, now notice it said, she kept coming to him
Yep.
and
Saying.
saying. Okay, that means she did this more than one time.
That's right. Well, the New Living Translation says it like that. It says she came repeatedly.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot
That's
of times.
pretty much all the time.
Okay, so every day maybe. We don't know how often, She's facing this man who is hard and mean and callous, and he does not care.
That's right.
And maybe you've had dealings with somebody like that. But here's what this little widow lady did. Verse 4.
And for a time he would not. But later he said to himself, though I have neither reverence or fear for God, nor respect or consideration for man.
Okay. I mean, he's just bold and open
right.
about who he is. That I don't
That's
like anybody. I don't care anything about God. I sure don't care anything about this little widow. Okay, and notice it said, for a time he would not.
Right.
So we're talking about a period of time. We don't know how long. But this widow lady, she doesn't let the time affect her faith in this.
That's right. She just kept on keeping.
You know, she could have just said, well, I'm forget you.
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting nowhere.
No, that's right.
Okay.
All right, verse 5. Yet because this widow continues to bother me, I will defend and protect and avenge her, lest she give me intolerable annoyance and wear me out by her continual coming, or at the last she come and rail on me, assault me, or strangle me.
He's getting scared of her
Yeah,
now.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, this woman is driving me crazy.
That's what he's saying. Okay. But what did her persistence do?
It wore down his resistance.
It wore down
Yes.
his resistance. Okay, so can we use this in our own lives?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so then it says in verse 6, the Lord said, listen to what the unjust judge says. Okay, and then in verse 7, it's going to tell you about God. Read that.
All right. And will not our just God defend and protect and avenge his elect, his chosen ones, who cry to him day and night? Will he defer them and delay help on their behalf?
Okay, so they're crying day and night.
Day and night.
So the judge, in all his meanness and hatefulness, he paid attention.
That's right.
But now here, God is not like that.
That's right.
God is just and
right.
God is good. But it says here that he will defend and protect and avenge you when you cry. And you know,
To him day and night. Now,
persistently.
All right. So that reminds me of one of my favorite scriptures. It is found in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. It says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night.
That's right.
That's called persistence.
And then you will have.
Yeah, but that's called persistence.
That's what that is. That's what that is, and that's what we have to do, people. We got to learn to be persistent.
That's right. No quit.
No quit. Okay. So, verse 8 goes on and continues. I tell you, and we're talking about God, he will defend, protect, and avenge them speedily. However, when the Son of Man comes, listen to this, will he find persistence in faith on the earth?
Now that's pretty good.
Okay, y'all, it's hard for us because we live in the instant mashed potato age.
Yes, that's right.
We live where, I mean, you know, people were used to waiting or having to declare something more than one time. But now, I mean, you know, you don't even have to push a button anymore. You can just talk to stuff and get your, have it happen. Yeah. So it's really, this persistence is something we all are going to have to work on.
We live in a quick, fast, and easy world. I mean, now, you and I did not grow up in that world.
No, we had to squeeze our lemons to make lemonade.
But here's the thing about it. We have switched over to that world.
Yeah, we like this, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, you can just pick up your phone and talk to it. You don't have to dial anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes life easy, but what happens is that you forget how to be persistent.
That's right. So today we're working on that.
That's right.
Okay, so now we're going to do a couple or three Bible examples of persistence. Okay, and the first one is in Luke 11, and it's verses 5 through 8. And this is the one about the person wanting some bread.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'll start reading and then you can help me. Okay. So it's, again, Amplified Classic. Luke 11, verse 5. He said to them, which of you has a friend who has a friend will go to him at midnight and will say to him, friend, lend me 3 loaves of bread. Well, first of all, I wouldn't go to my friend at midnight.
This is at midnight.
At midnight. Would you do that? Well, we
No.
could go across the street and bother our neighbors, I guess. No, we wouldn't. The dog would eat us up. Okay, go ahead.
For a friend of mine who is on a journey has just come, and I have nothing to put before him.
Okay, so see, he's building his case. I
That's
got to
right.
have food for this. I've got company. Okay, then verse 7, he from within will answer, do not disturb me. The door is now closed and my children are with me in bed. I cannot get up and supply you with anything. Okay.
All right, verse 8. I tell you, although he will not get up and supply him anything because he is his friend, he won't do it just because they're
Nope,
friends.
that's not enough.
Yet because of his shameless persistence and insistence, he will get up and give him as much as he needs.
That's right.
So he won't do it just because they're friends. But because he won't leave me alone, I'm going to do it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so here's another one, Matthew 7.
Okay.
And this is verses 7 through 12. This is one that a lot of us are familiar with.
Right.
Okay, it's about keep on asking and it will be given to you. Keep on seeking, you will find. Keep on knocking and the door will be open to you. Now, what does that sound like? Keep on.
Sounds to me like persistence.
Persist in asking.
Right.
You could have said persist. Persist in seeking if you want to find something.
Yep.
Okay, and we've been there where we had something we had to find, and Jimmy, you are the best. You won't give up till we find my favorite pair of shoes.
That's right. That's
You're
right.
just wonderful. Okay, go
All right,
ahead, read
verse 8. For everyone who keeps on asking receives, and he who keeps on seeking finds. And to him who keeps on knocking, the door will be opened.
Okay, so look at that. Things happen if you
Yeah.
don't give up.
Just don't quit.
Don't quit. Okay, verse 9, or what man is there of you if his son asks him for a loaf of bread, will hand him a stone?
No.
You would never do that to Matthew,
no,
would you? You would
no.
always give him bread.
That's
You'd break
right.
his teeth on a stone.
That's right. All right. Or verse 9, or what man is there of you if his son asks him for a loaf of bread, will he hand him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will he hand him a serpent? No, you wouldn't do that. No.
So we're just talking about a man and his son. We're talking
Yeah.
about a father and a son. Okay, and then verse 11, if you then, here it comes.
Okay.
Evil as you are, know how to give good and advantageous gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven, perfect as he is, give good and advantageous things to those who keep on asking him.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Don't quit.
Don't quit. Just keep on doing it.
That's right. Sometimes when there's something that I want for supper, okay.
You keep on asking.
So what I do is I'll mention it
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. And then a day passes.
And then tomorrow I'll mention it again.
Yeah.
And then maybe on the next day I'll mention it again, and then you'll say, well, would you like to have so and so for supper? And I say, yeah, I sure would.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's called persistence.
That's what persistence will
That's
do. Okay, so this is a good thing. All right,
Yep.
in Mark chapter 10, here's another one.
I really like this one.
Okay.
Mark chapter 10.
You wanna
we're going to start with verse 46.
Okay, now this is a different translation, y'all. This is the New Living
Okay.
Translation.
Then they reached Jericho, and as Jesus and his disciples left town, a large crowd followed him. A blind beggar named Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, was sitting beside the road. When Bartimaeus heard that Jesus of Nazareth was nearby, he began to shout, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Be quiet, many of the people yelled at him, but he only shouted louder, Son of David, have mercy on me. Okay, they thought, in other words, what happened? The people that were there said, just shut up.
That's what they did, yeah.
Leave the man alone.
don't bother
but
him.
He got quiet, louder and louder. So then, verse
49.
49. When Jesus heard him, he stopped and said, tell him to come here. So they called the blind men. Cheer up, they said. Come on, he's calling you. Verse 50. Bartimaeus threw aside his coat, jumped up, and came to Jesus.
That's
When
right.
he threw aside his coat, that means he was expecting something to happen.
That's right.
Okay? Jesus said, what do you want me to do for you? My rabbi, the blind man said, I want to see. And Jesus said to him, go, for your faith has healed you. Instantly, the man could see, and he followed Jesus down the road. But it's right there, he said, when they told him to shut up, said he got even louder.
Yeah.
So
That's like when they told Daniel, don't pray.
That's right.
Immediately, he went back home and threw
Yeah.
the windows open and started to pray.
So we see here that you just keep on keeping on.
Be persistent.
You just be persistent. That's right. I mean, that's just the way that it is.
That is how it
If
is.
you're not persistent, according to these scriptures that we've read here today, you might not receive.
Yeah, you need to stick with it.
That's
Stick
right.
with it.
That's right. I mean, and that's true. Like when you're growing up, in your schoolwork, you have to be persistent.
Mm-hmm.
I've used this example many times. When my middle brother Tommy was in the whatever grade he was in back in those days, I don't remember. But my big mama, that was what we called my grandma, Big
Yeah.
Mama. She was about 5'2"
So you
tall.
called her Big
We
Mama.
called her Big Mama. But anyway, she bought him a set of 45
Records.
records.
RPMs.
and they were the multiplication tables.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now listen, this has been probably 70 years ago.
At least.
At least 70
yeah,
years
at
ago.
least. Yeah.
I can still hear that.
Because it was playing
It
persistently.
was paying persistently. Here we go. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is, and then you had to say it.
Yeah.
Then it would say, 2 times 2 is 4.
Are you sure?
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is, and you'd have to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I can hear that just as well today as I could 70 years ago.
Also, you learned yours too. Yeah.
Because I already knew them.
Oh, okay.
But it was being persistent in listening to that helped you learn it.
Exactly. And being persistent in your faith will help you hear from God.
That's right. So we want, Susan and I want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your week. If you have prayer requests, you can contact us here. The bottom line, we'd love to pray for you. And we want to thank you for your continued financial support. It means so much to us. So there you have that. So listen to this. Jesus said, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Okay, perfect.